Hi, I'm Tammy Jones West, Assembly Manager, and in that role, I'm thrilled you're here and that Assembly is almost over. It is my joy, however, to bring you greetings as your Youth and Family Ministry Coordinator. I wish I could say that serving on Synod staff for 20 years gives you 20/20 vision. It does give perspective. When we start school, we first learn our shapes and numbers. This was simply a triangle. When I got to college, this same shape became a group of sisters in my sorority, and in my economics classes, the triangle was used to represent change. The shape didn't change, my world did. It seems fitting that 20 years later, it's time to keep things simple and to accept change as a moment in time when we pause and ask ourselves what God is up to in all this change and what we're supposed to do about it. If the delivery fairies were kind to me, you'll find a magnet on your table in the shape of a triangle with a grand total of 5 words. It's best to keep things simple in the midst of change. The book Building a Discipling Culture has helped me to talk about this faith journey we find ourselves on together and to help others talk about it as well. Up, in, and out. Simple, yet difficult because balance is hard, and balance is what we're hoping to model. Our young people need each of us to be those models of what it means to be a disciple, of what it means to reflect Christ. Up, our relationship with God, Bible study, worship, learning, Sabbath. Now, I know you good Lutherans out there may pause at God being up. Don't think direction. Think of posture, of being open to see the work of the Spirit, to being drawn closer. I'm quite aware that God came down and we cannot reach our way up. But before you get all upset, think of it this way, through the eyes of the psalmist. I lift my eyes to the hills. However, wherever we find those moments, that's our up. In our relationship with those around us, Jesus had a close group. We each have a smaller group of people who we let into our lives. How are we nourishing those relationships of parent, sibling, child, partner, friend? How are we doing in building up those bonds? That's our in. And out, our relationship with a hurting world. How are we working for justice and peace and serving our neighbor? When these three are in balance, we actually can reflect Christ. I wanted to give each of you a mirror in the shape of a triangle. Turns out that wasn't the best idea I've ever had. Unfinished edges are not your friend. So I settled on the magnet. Our youth and young adults can understand this, can articulate how their lives are in or out of balance, and can begin to understand that they can think theologically about their lives in new ways. It's also a great tool to think about the balance within our congregations. We have some amazing young people in this synod, and it is a gift to be able to ask them and hear them respond about how they are reflecting Christ. I'd invite you to join me in this simple yet difficult task. Let's talk to each other about how we reflect Christ. We need common language. We need to hear our stories. I have a few minutes left in my time. Please turn to your neighbor and see how easy it is to talk about how you are reflecting Christ today.